welcome back to the channel Push Riders. So before we get into this video, we're looking at doing some merch and we need your help, your input. Now if you click on the community button up top, there's a few suggestions there, or if you don't see anything that really tickles your fancy there that you might like to buy, put in the comments section there and let's see if we can make some merch happen. Alrighty. Oh, and by the way too, thanks for all your comments, all your likes, and even if you've only watched for a couple of minutes, it all helps make this channel grow. So big thank you very much to everyone. It's been my very first car. I've had it for about 18, 20 odd years. How it come to be was, well, actually, I'd say it's my first complete HR. I actually started off with a body shell, a subframe which is now on this car, and a boot full of parts. Anyway, I was searching around and Mum's partner, he goes, oh, I know where there's a HR down in Dramana on the Mornington Peninsula here in Victoria, Australia. Very nice bit of country. So I went down and had a bit of a look at it, had the cylinder head off of it. Like, okay, what's going on here? It turned out one of the triple SU carbies had lost its butterfly and screws and bits and pieces that went through the motor. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to pay $2,000 for it. And I offered $1,500 and they agreed on it. So good old Mum come up with the cash and I paid her off. This was pretty much just before the muscle cars here in Australia just went absolutely ballistic through the roof. Price wise, we're talking, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, even to the point of $1 million GDHO Falcons and all that sort of stuff. So I think I lucked out reasonably well, got a good deal on it. Now, I don't know if this car has any provenance, may have been locally, I'm not sure, although it had the diff housing painted bright yellow, the fuel tank painted bright yellow, bits and pieces underneath the car that would decal. It looked like a late 80s, early 90s sort of build. And everything was pretty much hammered. So let's go have a bit of a look-see. So the car originally left the factory as a two-tone, white roof with grey body. Had a 186 with 3 on the tree. It was just the model, I guess you could say, is a special. So it just had a little bit of extra trim and maybe a couple other bits and pieces. That's about it. Now when I got it, this is the engine that was in it. And of course, like I said, cylinder head was off of it, but luckily I rebuilt it because it rounded off a cam lobe. And I wish I should have kept the cam and the lifter, but I think they went to scrap years ago. But needless to say, it's got a high compression Yellowterra head, Starfire rods, it's got the steel crank in it, later model fuel pump, twin Stromberg carbies, although these are the 186, which have got the bigger Venturis in it to let it breathe. And the set of extractors there are 2 lots of no-name extractors being made into one, so I've had to cut and shut and all the rest of it. We've used the mounting points off of the original cross member, and as you can see, she's a straight axle, so that's an early Ford Transit, about 1973, with custom leaf springs. Now, I bought that because it was like $180 or $150 for the whole front end, brakes, everything. So in hindsight, probably could have gone with Speedway Motors kit, but oh well, hey look, it's all good looking back. But anyway, it is what it is. So now this car's had about 100 kilos of weight taken out of it. Anything from the large chrome center badge to the bonnet bracing underneath. You can see where I've cut the little bits and pieces out. Now the front end, I think, is around about, there's a, by the time you weigh up all the front, there's like a 20 kilo difference. Now the front axle is actually moved forwards about an inch and a half. So it's got a little bit more setback engine wise, although the engine's sitting in its same place. As you can see, we've got brake lines already bent up, ready to be fitted. This is literally all what's left to be fitted parts wise. The sump you may have seen, have a look in the playlist and you'll see the sump video. We modified it, flared it out a little bit there, made up a windage tray for it, all that sort of deal. Repop steering bits and pieces. Inside, both the floors got a really good clean, and that's actually bed liner, like your ute pickup truck bed liner. I just wanted something hard wearing that I didn't have to worry about carpets and all that sort of crap. Yeah, it's going to get a bit hot, but it's mainly a race car, drag car sort of thing for the street. We've got a Stuart Warner tacho. It's pretty bare bones in here, other than the prem seats. And our door cards are actually printing press plates. I used to work at a printer's many moons ago, and these were getting thrown in the scrap. They're very thin sheet aluminium to the point where you can use paper scissors to cut them. So, and they're held on by double-sided Velcro. And of course the window winders and all that sort of stuff. We've got an earlier model, I think that'd be an EJ steering wheel. I'm not really fussed if it's different or not. Now the gearbox, that is an early Mazda 4-speed out of an old, I think about early to mid 70s 808 Mazda. It was a Hadfield conversion or a Castlemaine rod shop conversion back many moons ago. And we've had to fix all the bracing up underneath the floor and all that sort of stuff, which you'll see a little bit later. What else? The boot area, we've lightened up the back bumper. They're 3-inch lightning holes. The battery was already mounted in the boot when I got it, so it was a matter of properly mounting it in the boot, not just have the cables sit there and hold it still. Box is vented to the outside, which is I think what the engineers would probably want. That's pretty much about it in a nutshell. Let's have a look-see underneath. So pretty much that's, you can see a bit better the front end conversion. Gearbox and the bracing, which you won't be able to see, which is sort of up here somewhere. That's all that was cut away, and there was nothing there, so we've had to replace it and mold it around the gearbox. So as you can see, the exhaust system's all been painted in ceramic exhaust paint. So it might be a little bit difficult to see, but the leaf springs there are made up of a couple of different packs of leaf springs. It's my interpretation of what a super stock style spring would be. So I've bunched the leaves more at the front than the rear. Now this had like super heavy duty lowered springs. I dare say they would have been commercial, judging how thick they were. And I just weighed them just out of curiosity, and they weighed somewhere in the vicinity of about 31 to 35 kilos each. And and then I weighed these once I cleaned them all up and mixed and matched leaves and all the rest of it, and they weigh 14.5 kilos a side. Tech tip for the day is don't only look at your sprung weight, which is virtually everything above the spring. So what I've been talking about, you know, pulling out carpets and headlining and all the stuff that you don't really need. The unsprung weight is just as important. So that's like all your springs down, and that's your how heavy your wheels and tyres are, and all that sort of stuff. So that's pretty much the ins and outs of, well, so far anyway, of our little Holden Gasser project. Hopefully it's given you some ideas with weight reduction and all that sort of stuff on your vehicle. The plans are, of course, to get it going and all the rest of it, to get it registered, roadworthy, engineered. Unfortunately, we've got to go through a lot of hoops to get modified cars like this on the road here in Australia. Unlike our friends over in the US, but hey, it is what it is. You've got to do what you got to do. Our plans are hopefully to make the show scene here in Victoria this year, which will probably be around about mid-spring onwards through summer. Now that's whether it's cars and coffee events to the more major shows. We'll see how we go, but you'll be coming along for the ride with us. So anyway, look, I hope that's given you a bit of inspiration for your project, whether it be looking into weight reduction or just literally getting into it and getting stuff done. What are you waiting for? Go and get your hands dirty. We'll see you next video.